Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks at Ungainly Titan. So we're on Erlenberg. I'm in the AMX Chaffee with Buck Peters, the crew that I was training up for the T25 AT. I have managed to train a couple of skills onto him now, so I think he's about 5 skills, and we're on training the 6th. So he's pretty much ready. I was just mostly playing premium tanks now because I just wanted a break and it was fun, and I like tanks like the AMX Chaffee. Played a little bit with the AMX CDC as well, and they like him. But this particular game, we're on Erlenberg, so I'm going to make a run, and I'm going to make a run on the eastern side of the hills, or no, sorry, the western side of the hills, this side of the hills. The idea is that I get down to the end, like invariably some enemy tanks will cross the river. Whether I'll push on the hill or not varies from game to game, although usually they do. Usually some of them do at any rate. But my theory is that I have the best chance of spotting tanks on this side of the hill, and I have a reasonably low risk of being shot at, because as soon as I'm spotted I can turn, and by the time they turn their turrets pointing at me and get a bead on me, and with the houses and things interrupting, I should be out of view range again before they actually manage to get any shots off. And I didn't see any incoming fire there, so I think if your tank is fast enough, obviously you wouldn't do this on a slow tank, but if you can do the 55 kilometers, 50 kilometers plus, it's probably, you'd get away with it. So it's a light tank gambit, or maybe some fast medium tanks, some of the faster medium tanks out there. But there's no teammates. The team are not pushing up. They're not pushing across the river. They're not pushing up. So there's no point in a light tank trying to defend the corner above the map. That's just madness. And as soon as I was spotted, I pulled back. And it was just as well that I did, because two people had obviously auto-aimed onto me and snapshotted. And I reckon if I'd stayed where I was, those shots would have hit, but they hit the dirt because I was already pulling back when they pulled the trigger, so the guns were turning down and into the central mass of my tank, which was already below the ground. So I come up for a second round, but there's a lot of tanks here. There's a light tank, I think he's a tier 8, it's mostly a tier 7 battle. And there's a lot of tanks down here at this level down, and I think they're too far down. And we really need to be defending more aggressively, more forward, more where that heavy tank is. I just want to see if anything else is down there. The enemy are not up here in any kind of great force. We have we have 2 tanks that have like attacked across the southern side of the map, but that's probably just as well. I mean, I think attacking across the southern side of the map, unless you do it in overwhelming force, almost never works. The enemy will generally get to the castle before you, and they'll have the better hold down positions and the better the terrain advantage. Now, sorry about that there, mate. I didn't really intend to drive into you, but I was paying attention to what was behind me, not what was in front of me. Now, fortunately for our team, there's no artillery in the game. I think the defensive posture that we have played would have been a boon to the enemy artillery, and they would have clustered allied tanks that they would have to take out at will, because all it needs is that big top spotting. They don't need anything else. We're not spotting anybody else because we're not being aggressive about it. So I just kind of came out to get a spot on the tanks down by the river. And in fairness to my team, if I've spotted tanks, they tend to shoot at them. I mean, I've already got 1,000 spotted damage clocked up, so I've often been in games where I've gone out and spotted enemy tanks, and I overstayed my welcome here because I didn't pay attention to the big top sneaking up and using his gun depression on the ridgeline, and I won't put shot through the turret of that thing either. But he needs to go, as does the other enemy tank that's forward at this location. So again, I'm still picking up spotting hits, so that, like I said, the team are at least shooting tanks that we're spotting, and there's a Tiger P in a forward position. So we start putting rounds into him, and he's finished off, and I now pull back and get the reload. My next target is the big top. There's only one tank now in support of the big top, down at the bottom near the river, and he spotted and probably under fire from multiple tanks. So if I come in over the top, and if this thing here, I suspect it's a ravioli, or what they call it, or a Valorese, comes in with me, we'll be able to take the big top. But I should be able to take one on my own if I'm a bit lucky. He's missed with his first shot. We'll put an ammo rack hit. I need to get around him. Just keep firing. And I do the little shimmy back and forth. And for once I managed to win the little yo-yo back and forth, because normally I tend to get shot when I do stuff like that. Other people pull it off on me all the time, but I tend to get shot when I do try it with other people. But we've gotten away with it this time. We can now get into the low ground, lose the spots, and come back up. Now at this stage we are, well, a significant amount of tanks up. We are 6 tanks up, 7 tanks up, and my objective now is to get down, get across the river and into the enemy, into the shelter on the other side before the enemy knows that I'm there, essentially. Now this SU-152 has got to go. He is obviously AFK, but I'm going to stop here and shoot him from here, because he'll spot me if I get any closer. And I want to get as close as I can before I'm spotted to the other side, to the ridgeline, because if I'm spotted at this side of the river, then the defenders on the ridgeline up near the castle have a good chance of shooting me. I've been joined by another light tank who has seen the opportunity as well, so we come along, we sneak along the edge of the base here, and I've been spotted now, but the thing is I'm low enough on the ground and moving fast enough. The angles are getting worse as I close into the ridgeline here, and I should no longer be it's no longer a direct line of sight to me. And I've picked up some more spotting, so I've actually got my patrol duty, not my patrol duty, my scout medal. And there's a challenger here. I should be able to take a challenger, I think, as long as I can start putting rounds into him. He is trying for the ram, but I am a bit faster than he is, and we've taken him out of the fight. And now it is a 45 TP, and I want to face him front on. He might even be able to one-shot me, so we'll wait for a reload. We have a full reload before we go tackling him. And the other light tank is racing in anywhere to attack him, as is the other light tank in the team. So we're now behind. The 40 TP is doomed, essentially. He is out of the fight. We've managed to get the kill, and somebody's shooting me from down near the castle. And we have a couple of rounds left, and it's a Craft Panther with very little hit points left. We missed a shot, and we hit, and we finish him off, and that is it. Game over. So we got 16 sister damage ribbons, 17 damage ribbons. We spotted 9 tanks and killed 4. So how has that left us? So we got an ace tanker out of it. Now I was actually somewhat surprised at getting the ace tanker, because I've actually done, well, I felt more damage in a few other games, not without the kills, and probably without the scout medal, and not gotten an ace tanker, just gotten the first class mastery. However, we came number 1 by experience in our team. In fact, yeah, you know, the team did pretty well, and we got an ace tanker, so I can't really argue with that. I'm beginning to come to the conclusion that on Erlenberg, passive teams probably work better than aggressive teams. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and found it interesting. If you did, please give it a like and a share. Feel free to comment, and I'll catch you all again soon. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Bye for now.